I'm Cheryl State Bryson, mom, divorcee, health nut, and host of the Healthy Mom After Divorce podcast, where I help divorced moms get healthy, create financial stability, and develop emotional fortitude while they master co-parenting their kids. The place is here, and your time is now. So let's do this. Hey, healthy mamas. Welcome, and thank you for joining me for the 12th episode of the Healthy Mom After Divorce podcast. Find the full transcript for this episode at healthymomafterdivorce.com/12. I want to start today's podcast by asking you some questions about your kids, and I want you to answer honestly. Go back to yesterday in your mind or whatever day you saw them last. What did they eat that day? Take a minute and think about it. Describe it to yourself. Did they eat breakfast? How about lunch? Were their meals balanced and well portioned? Were they satisfied and refueled afterwards? Did they sit down to eat them? Did they stay sitting until they were done? What about fruits and veggies? Did those make it into their day? And what about water? Did they have it readily available throughout the day? And did they drink enough? When they asked you for a snack, what did you give them? Did they report being hungry when they were getting into bed? I am guessing for a lot of us, we are generally pleased with the answers to these questions. It's important for us that our children eat enough food throughout the day, that they eat well, and that they drink lots of water. It's important to us that they eat a good breakfast before setting off for the day and don't go to bed hungry. Why is that? Well, we know that eating regularly and eating well is crucial for their well-being. It's instrumental in keeping their energy levels high and their abilities to do physical activities. It's vital for their focus and attention, their overall mood, and their ability to manage stress. It's imperative to instill healthy habits so that they naturally make healthier choices their whole lives. And these are only a few of the benefits. I have no doubt that you can come up with hundreds more. Now, keeping those same questions in mind, let me ask you this. What did you eat yesterday? Did you eat breakfast? How about lunch? Were your meals balanced and well portioned? Did you feel satisfied and refueled afterwards? Did you sit down to eat them? And be honest, a lot of us are standing at counters and sinks. What about veggies and fruits? Did those make it into your day? Oh, and water. Did you have it readily available throughout the day? Or was your only liquid coffee? When your body asked you for a snack, what did you give it? Or did you give it one at all? When you crawled into bed last night, were you hungry? Or maybe even uncomfortably full from a huge dinner because you were so famished after not eating much all day? I am guessing a lot of us are not nearly as satisfied with some or all of our answers to these questions. And that's okay. This isn't about shame or feeling bad about ourselves, but it's about awareness and small shifts we can make towards a healthier life. It's about applying something we already believe in to ourselves and not just to those we look after. As you answered these questions and perhaps some shame crept in, did you find yourself giving reasons for why you're answering the way you are? I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't know what to eat. My question for you is this. Would you accept any of these reasons for not making sure your kids were well fed? Would you accept these reasons from someone else for not making sure their kids are well fed? I'm guessing not. So why do you accept those reasons for not looking after your eating habits? Not eating enough is one of those things that we can always find ways to push through, can't we? We can skip meals and function at an okay level. Not well, but okay. We can drink coffee all day and still get our kids to soccer on time. We can stand in the kitchen and stuff a piece of toast down before running to the office and still generally perform our duties to our boss's satisfaction. But are those the bars we're trying to attain? Functioning okay, getting to places on time, and performing tasks at a minimum satisfactory level? As divorced mums, are there not other even more important reasons to look after our eating habits? What about how we feel during the day at a time when being on an emotional roller coaster is the norm? What about our mood throughout the day and how we show up for our kids that a lot of us only see part of the time? How about how we feel about how we've treated ourselves at a time when our self-esteem and self-worth might be lower than normal? What about the toll it takes on our mental health to put ourselves last in everything when we already feel at the bottom of everyone else's priority list? How about the guilt that creeps in when we know it's important to do better, but we just aren't? Do we really need something else to feel guilty about? What about the stress that is exponentially higher because not only is your body trying to regulate itself when dealing with the co-parenting conflict, but it has to do it on an empty tank? How about this one? What about your kids watching you be a martyr all day long and learning that's what being a grown-up is like? I don't know about you, but that last one gets me every time. As a mom, I'm guessing you are constantly ready to sacrifice yourself for your kids because you think it only affects you. But I'm here to ask you to think about your decisions in the context of the impact it has on your kids. Do I have your attention yet? Let's take breakfast, for example. There are two main scenarios here. Number one, you or your spouse makes your kids breakfast, or number two, your kids make their own breakfast. There are many factors that play into which one happens in your household, and it probably changes day to day. So let's start with number one. You are making your kids breakfast. To me, this is the easier one of the two. Whatever you're making them, maybe you just make some for you too. That's it. Toast, eggs, yogurt, oatmeal, whatever. Just make a bit more. But what if your kids are making their own breakfast while you're doing other things? Showering, getting ready, packing lunches, walking the dog, whatever. Then what? Well, my question is this. If your kids are capable of making their own breakfast, are they not capable of making yours too? When we think about doing chores or helping out around the house, sometimes we forget about these types of things. We think of chores as house-specific, like sweeping and putting away laundry. But what about things that improve the well-being of others in the household? Helping their mom with her health in the same way she helps them with theirs is very powerful for kids. The message here is that mom is as important as us kids. And when they grow up, they will have learned to view themselves in the same light. Now let's talk about packing lunches and snacks. Now I know the number one argument for not packing snacks is time. I just don't have the time. I want you to ask yourself though, is that actually true? Are you finding, and by finding I mean making, the time to make your kids' lunches? Okay, so what stops you from making one more for you? Are you finding the time to prepare a healthy snack for your kids when they ask for one? Okay. So what stops you from preparing a healthy one when your body asks for one? If your kids are acting up or not behaving in the way they usually do, what are some of the first things you think of in the problem-solving phase? I'm guessing, are they hungry, is one of the first things you ask yourself. When you're reacting to something your co-parent said that you didn't like, when you're snapping at your spouse for being late again, when you're barking at your teenager for not putting their dishes in the dishwasher, when you're miserable by 10 a.m., but nothing really has happened to make you that way, do you ask yourself, am I hungry? Listen, I am not saying food solves all your problems, because it does not. Reminding your kids every day to put their laundry in the hamper is beyond frustrating, no matter what you've eaten that day. Your coworkers not leaving you alone all morning to the point where you can get nothing done is definitely irksome, whether or not you've packed a lunch. Your ex breaching your court order is absolutely enough to drive someone over the edge. But is it possible that your ability to handle these situations is severely hampered when you've not eaten anything since 11 a.m. and it's 8 p.m.? Is it possible your body and mind are simply not fueled well enough to handle these stressors? Is it possible your stress levels would only rise to a 4 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10 if you weren't running on fumes? Is it possible that all of your relationships, and I mean your kids, your family, your spouse, yourself, would be improved if you gave your body what it needs so it can do its job for you while you do your job for others? I find the best way to make sure I'm eating throughout the day is I eat what the kids are eating. I'm already making it for them, so what's one more sandwich or putting out a few more veggies? And if you find yourself saying, I don't want to eat what they're eating, perhaps consider why that is. Is it because what they're eating isn't particularly healthy? In that case, maybe making some changes for everyone is the best plan. Is it because you don't feel like you have the time? Well, perhaps engaging the children and making the food and making some for you too. Or maybe it's a matter of preparing some food the night before. There are many reasons why moms find this challenging, and I'm not here to list them all and provide solutions to everyone. I'm just suggesting that maybe you spend some time reflecting on it and being honest with yourself and the reasons why you are maybe not fueling your body the way you should. And once you have those reasons in mind, I want you to ask yourself this. If your kid came to me with that reason for not eating properly throughout the day, what would I say to them? Your health is as important as theirs. As divorced moms, how can we ask our bodies to push through the long list of demands we put on it if we won't give it the fuel it needs to do so? The healthy food and water you regularly put in your body are your fuels. They are the very things that give you a solid physical and mental foundation that will set you up for success and help keep your mood level and provide your body the strength it needs to take on the stressors of day-to-day co-parenting life. And you insist on it for your kids. As healthy mamas, let's not leave ourselves behind. And remember, kids are copycats. In the long term, they do what they see, not what they're told. So fill up that water bottle when you fill theirs. Make that extra sandwich when you're packing lunches. And have a snack when they have theirs. And show them what it's like to look after yourself too. Because where do healthy kids come from? You guessed it. They come from healthy moms. Thank you so much for listening. Please leave a review. And if you like what you heard, share this episode with other mums. Don't forget to follow me on social media. And if you want to learn more about me and what else I have to offer, head over to healthymomafterddivorce.com. I can't wait to connect with you.